In this tutorial, we're going to look at the ACM Digital Library. To access it, select the Databases tab on the homepage libraries.psu.edu. You can type in the name of the database, or you can select the letter A and select it from the list. It's recommended that you use this database with Chrome, which I am using. And I would recommend using the advanced search function, which is a little bit hidden. It's over here. These browse features are just going to give you the titles of the journals, and then you can browse within them. So if you have some time on your hands, that may be very helpful. Otherwise, it's this search box up here. So I would pick, for the most friendly interface, the advanced search feature right here on the top of the right-hand column. You can combine your search terms into this one box. You can also add additional boxes using the plus and minus buttons. I have tried this, putting the whole search into one box, and it has worked fine for me. If you have any challenges, I would add some additional boxes just to kind of separate out your terms a little bit. So I found 10 results. Again, my topic is really specific, as I've mentioned in some of the other videos, so I don't get a ton of results. If you do get a lot of results, add some additional search terms, narrow it down by year, make sure you have your scholarly journal filters on. That's all a good way to narrow them down. With this database, it can be a little bit challenging to tell what resources are from journals, what's from conferences. So the first thing that I would recommend, if you don't have a ton of results like I do, read the source of the article. So this is a conference proceeding, steering committee, conference proceedings. Some of these conference proceedings are peer-reviewed. It's not necessarily a scholarly journal, but some of them may be published in scholarly journals. So it's a great idea to always read through, skim through the article and see if all of those appropriate research headings are there. And then if you have any further questions, definitely send the resource to me or Dr. Lee, and we will take a look and let you know if it would be an acceptable source for you to use. Let's take a look at this one, which I can tell is not necessarily from a conference. And if you're not sure about if a journal is scholarly and peer-reviewed, one of the things that you can do is a tool called Ulrich's Web. So it's ULRICH''S. We do have access to that through the libraries as a database. You put the title of the publication into that database, and it will tell you if it is scholarly or peer-reviewed. So I'm not 100% sure about this one, but that is one way that you can find out. So I'm going to look at my full text here. So this is a magazine, I can see, so it's probably not the best source to use, but it would be good background information for my topic, possibly. So you can always read through these things. You don't necessarily have to throw them out just because they are not scholarly or peer-reviewed. It's just not going to count towards your final list of scholarly and peer-reviewed journals. But a lot of times they can be useful for background information. So I'm going to hop back here and see what I can find. One way to help kind of narrow things down in this particular database is to look at the publication names. Sometimes they will say journal in them, so that will give you a little bit of a hint. For my particular topic, I'm not so lucky in that area, but let's take a look at one of these conference proceedings and see if this indeed has some research components to it. So I'm seeing an explanation of a course design. So this looks like it might be a case study. There is some methodology, so it would take a little bit digging into this a bit more to see and to find out about those conference proceedings. That you need to read up a little bit more about the conference and could find those kinds of things out. So if you're not seeing, something that's very cut and dry that says journal, think about the title, look into the publication itself. You should be able to find some information about how they accept resources and what kind of process they go through to be accepted to the conference and then eventually published. So that is a good way to kind of figure out what's going on there. If you have any further questions, you can shoot me an email and I am happy to help.